in tarot world for more than 10 plus years. And today we'll be doing the reading for Scorpios and how to navigate the Mars retrograde period correctly, which will finish on the 23rd of February this year. Now, why I picked that specific topic for you, Scorpios, because it's really important for you specifically to understand how to navigate any kind of potential conflicts which may arise through this period. You're a very goal-oriented sign. So you are just like moving through the waters in this life towards your goals. And this is quite important to understand which kind of pitfalls you can navigate through this period, which may occur. They may occur actually because Mars retrograde, it creates so much potentialities for potential conflict. It creates that potentiality for energy work, lots of energy work. And like when someone or something or some events here, they try to penetrate and really disrupt our energy. And there is lots of also problems which occur through this period with that motivation to move forward. So I wanted to devote this session specifically just to unravel for you all the mysteries of this period up to 23rd of February, and how to navigate it correctly in your relationship area, in your money area, and like the whole guidance from the universe so that you could not just survive Mars retrograde, but you could thrive through that. How is that? Let's get started. All right, so we will ask, the universe, how to go through this period for your money area, money and career area. And I can see already we have the card here which just like jumped out of the deck, and this is the King of Swords. Right, so it's watch out, be rational, right? So, and then we have Queen of Swords. Wow, this is really tremendously powerful sequence, which I can see here. It's literally about be aware, and watch out. The sun, everything turns out to be tremendously well if you have that, like that attitude of being cautious through this period in your career area. 10 of Wands. Oh, there is this potentiality of taking too much and the burnout for you. 8 of Wands. Yeah, that's exactly it, because Mars retrograde invites so much of that opening up of energy. We just start like really running on the periphery of the circle, not in the middle, not staying in the middle. And that's exactly what we need through this period. Stay in the middle, right? A Wheel of Fortune. That's we need to stay in the middle of the circle, watch in the middle to keep that balance. And 6 of Swords. All right, so what I can clearly see here in this sequence for you is that you really want to approach everything from that rational perspective, right? So just always asking yourself that question, hey, does it make sense? Whichever the event you will be involved into during this period in your career and money area, you want just to have that filtering question, just like that sword, right? He has the sword, and this Queen of Swords, she also had it like straight. Hey, does it make sense? Does it make sense? And that sword will penetrate into absolutely everything. So use that question for yourself, and no rush. These two cards, these are not the cards of rush. We have the Knight of Swords when we rush into things. No. This is not the period for that in your career. So just literally try to go into more into that introspection, self-reflective process, and use that question like a sword in your reality. Hey, does it make sense? So something happened, right? And you want to just like, hey, does it make sense what he says to me? Does it make sense what happened? Maybe like through that process of does it make sense, you will start seeing much more like the sun. You will start establishing that clarity, that clarity within your career, just like, hey, it just doesn't make sense. It's the period that way. I just continue doing that introspection with myself, and only by doing that, I will be able to see much more. If I will not do that practice, that self-introspection practice with myself, I may actually take too much onto myself. So what may potentially happen is that your boss, or maybe like if you are working for yourself, you're self-employed, you may end up like having more and more duties and responsibilities into that period, and it will start sucking your energy. You will start feeling more and more overwhelmed, right? Overwhelmed. It's too much. You see how she's like, oh, it's too much on me. I hold here, and there is already nothing for me here. It's not enjoyable at all. There are too many demands for me, and it will only increase and augment. It will only increase and augment through this period until you just stop and see, just like that Sphinx, right? Sitting here, and do that introspection with yourself, penetrating into everything. You remember, just like the Queen of Swords with her sword, hey, does it make sense? Okay, what's happening? Maybe I need to step away. Maybe I need to reduce that frequency of communication with that person. Maybe I just need to hold off a bit. So this type of thinking process you want to establish in yourself through that period. And again, it just has to go through that inner introspection and this sequence of questions, because you literally use your mind, your powerful mind, through this process of introspection, right? So you're not working literally with your emotions at that moment, you use your mind. And then guess what? Step by step, you lay down still your way to the promised land. Exactly like this beautiful goddess, she's walking step by step to her dream, to what she's after, to her goal. Okay, so that's again this reminder to you, to your beautiful Scorpios, that you don't want to rush. You don't want to rush through this period in your career. Now, let's ask also the universe what's in store for you for this February during this Mars retrograde in your relationships and love area, and which kind of pitfalls may occur there through this period, how can you overcome them, which kind of potentialities are there, what you need to be aware of, what do you need to beware, so that you would pass through this period correctly and literally thrive through that. So, oh, Ace of Cups. It's a continuous reminder that my cup overflows, okay? Even if it seems to be different, you want to continue just reminding yourself that my cup overflows either way, even if something is happening not that way. Ace of Pentacles. There will be some new offering in your relationships area, some new endeavor, maybe some new relationships where you will step in. That's what I see for you in here. Four of Pentacles, and the universe is saying to you, hey, go for it. Literally go for it, because you can gain through those relationships some kind of support, stability for you in this period, you know. So yeah, and that will be very, very supportive relationship for you. And the Emperor, it seems like I'm smelling here some kind of even romantic relationships. The Emperor is for you on the way to you. He will bring much more structure. Do you see what I am talking about in here? We have Four of Pentacles and the Emperor. It's really just bringing that lots of safety, lots of stability, especially for us women. When we have that combination, it's just like, oh, it's some kind of release. Here is he, my hero. He can take part of my problems, part of my kind of like anxieties, concerns onto his strong shoulders. Just like this Emperor, his shoulders are strong. He brings structure into my world. So yeah, I see clearly that endeavor for you. But in order to make it happen, you want to do like that reminder for yourself. Hey, it will happen. It will happen. My cup overflows. You don't go to the universe and in any kind of period, even if it is predestined for you on some level, like this emperor during that period, you know, this new relationship, it might not happen if you step in there with the empty heart. So you want to just establish that process, do certain kind of practices which will continuously remind you that my cup overflows and I'm filled with love, and I step into these new relationships with trust. All right. And yeah, we have here Page of Wands, when we want just to watch our energy through these relationships. What do these relationships bring to you? Do they bring to you like more a light up? Do they just heavy you down, put you down, and you watch it? You do not like take it as it is. You want to just continue that self-work with your energy through this process, because remember, we are in Mars retrograde, and Mars retrograde is creating lots of opportunities for us, and lots of openings to work with our energy, to work with our motivation, to work with anything around how we move towards our goals, right? So that's very, very important to have, even like these new relationships, which will apparently occur during this period for you. You watch your energy. How do you feel nearby that person? Do you feel with energy uplifted? Continuously like do that introspection, like asking those questions. Do I feel down being together with that person? So that you would actually learn more about yourself and see where exactly I feel down nearby him. What's in there, you know? So because he might be like that emperor who brings you safety and security, but at the same time you need still to continue watching the energy of yours. How do you feel? Does it feel right to be around him? And then you want just to establish that self-mastery of kind of like how you deal with the world. Because we see here the Chariot, and that is that self-mastery, that self-determination. It seems like those relationships which will come to you through this Mars retrograde period will help you to evolve that part of you, which is kind of like that discernment part. Hey, is this the right person for me or not? Does not matter how those relationships will end up being, but if you work yourself through this process correctly, you may gain that utter mastery of discernment, clarity within you. And these relationships can actually prepare you for even make you even more mature and prepare you potentially for something more to come into your life, do more impact into this life. Because remember, every kind of relationships, they develop certain part, certain aspect in us. And that's what I sense specifically from this Mars retrograde period. It seems like those relationships with this emperor, who is literally predestined for you in this period, they will develop that Chariot in you, that very, very determined, self-confident part in you, because he will bring that safety to you, that structure to you. And if you just go into that learning period through those relationships with that person, you may learn so much about yourself, and you may truly just gain that mastery of yourself, and of discernment, maybe like removing all the shallow things from your reality. That's what I see, because that's a card of actually like taking the strings over this reality and starting ruling it, you know, just like that powerful being, like a creator. So that's a very, very powerful card, I would say. Now, what is the message for you from the universe? What do you need to pay attention to through these Mars retrograde, specifically, dear Scorpios? So 2 of Swords. It's just like keep on having that sense of balance. And do you remember we had that lady walking through the swords to her promised land? I showed you the card. So it's very much aligned with that. Keep that focus on what you want, right? It seems like even those relationships with this emperor, they were predestined for you to develop that part of you, which is that self-confidence even more. You will be much more confident. You will develop that petal in your heart, and our heart is like that petals, right? Like that rose. That's actually the mudra for the heart center. You can use it to open up your heart for abundance flow into your life. Do you remember? We started from it for your relationship reading. And that abundance flow puts you into that focus. So you continue creating what you are after in your career. There may be like that opening to see what else can you do, how can you connect to your higher self and do even more impact into your life. If there were some period in your life when you were doing the repetitious things, it might be that there will be that opening. If you keep on doing and developing that self-confident part in you, that you will see a lot. You will see so much more what you can do in life, how much more impact you can create, specifically in your career area. And that's the message from the universe for you for this Mars retrograde period. Now, which kind of pitfalls may occur through this period for you? That's called the pitfall, the lovers. So this relationship, it's not actually even the pitfall. It may seem to be like those relationships will bring inner work, okay? So what I can see here, so they will bring inner work for you, okay? And through that inner work, it may seem to be a pitfall, but in reality, you will gain so much through that. You will gain and open up your rose on the cross. Here in your heart center, you will become much more powerful through that process. There will be much more energy through that process for you. This whole Mars retrograde period is preparing you for, in fact, becoming that chariot, the chariot of your creation. If you literally approach that period from that perspective, there are no limits to how much you can create after that. All right, so what else you need to watch out? Oh, that's exactly it. That's not even the pitfall. That's not the pitfall. That's actually that thing that if you go through that period correctly with that person, as I mentioned, and you become that chariot, you will start seeing so much more. The impact which you do in this world will augment. So this is the card of lots of impact when you start truly working with the world, not working for your selfish needs, but you become that kind of like servant, that chariot in that selfless service to the world. All right, that's what's happening here. And it's so aligned with the Ace of Cups because there will be so much will open up in your heart center through the relationships with this guy, all right, through the relationships with this character, that you will just become like that cup of abundance, and you will want to share. You will want to share through that process. So yeah, I would say go into those relationships. They will open the new version of you. And just use lots of self-journaling techniques. Just understand that these new relations may bring you to a new, more powerful version of who you can be in the world and truly reconnect with your higher self. All right, so if you loved my reading, subscribe to my channel so that you would not miss those videos later, because I do those lives regularly and I will continue doing them for you. Ask me questions as well if you have any. I am personally answering everything. Thank you so much, and blessings towards your way.